Hi, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Edward Chen. I'm the Deputy Chief Executive from the Cybersecurity Agency of Singapore. Oh, I can see the room starting to fill up a lot. I think it's an honor to be back here at SingCon. I came here for the first time last year. Really impressed. Here among builders, breakers, and defenders of digital domain. I thought just share 3 quick observations on why I personally like SingCon a lot. I think first, the passion is very evident. I think Adrian, Emil, Adrian and Emil, I think it's really amazing. Running I understand this year is the 7th edition of SingCon. Through the many years and across even during COVID. I thought, round of applause for them, please. The second thing I really enjoy about SingCon is really being able to meet the community. Really, I think you look around us, it's a very different kind of crowd you see here. Very diverse range, diverse backgrounds, people who are very steep in the craft, trying to learn about AI versus the newcomers to our industry. It's really heartening to see the real community behind cybersecurity in Singapore and in this region as well. And last but not least, I really enjoy the very localized kind of touch. It's the only cyber conference I've been to that I think openly embraces Singlish, and makes fun of all our, quirks of the Singaporean culture and life, from having a very nice dragon playground badge. This is, for those that don't know, this is actually a very iconic public playground in Toa Payoh in Singapore. This is built in the 1970s. So we are very proud of this playground. And I think even having a very nice touch, including your Teocon, I thought it's really, really nice. So kudos to you. Now back to my speech. Let me take you back to 1988. A 23-year-old graduate named Robert Morris launched what was supposed to be an academic experiment, a self-replicating piece of code designed to measure the size of the then internet. But a bug in the code caused the worm to replicate uncontrollably. Within a day, it had infected roughly about 10% of all internet-connected systems, crippling networks from top academic labs to military systems. This was the birth of the first major internet security crisis and the world's first computer worm, the Morris worm. And when I read out about this was also the basis of why today governments around the world have national certs, etc. It was thanks to this one worm. It was a turning point, not just because it caused damage, but because it revealed a deep truth about cyberspace, that a single oversight, a single line of miswritten code could trigger global consequences. And that truth had only become more relevant with time. The biggest threats often come from the vulnerabilities we never thought to test. That's why today, I want to talk about adopting a red team mindset, one that embraces curiosity, creativity, and relentless challenge, a mindset that helps us see our systems the way the attackers do and fix what we might otherwise miss. Because in cybersecurity, what you don't know can hurt you. And often, it's also what we assume is safe that's the most dangerous. To adopt a red team mindset, we first must know our adversaries. Singapore is one of the most digitally connected countries in the world. Our economy, our public service, and even our national security runs on digital rails. That makes us a prime target. Threats today are not static. They are shape-shifting, they are persistent, and they are increasingly emboldened. Let me touch on 3 key ones today, what I call ransomware, scams, and APTs, or the really serious adversaries, or if you may, RSA. Let's start with ransomware. It's no longer just a nuisance, like when it first started. Today, it's an organized, professionalized, and highly profitable digital extortion economy. In many cases, it's more than a financial threat. It's a national security threat. We have all seen what happened in the United States when ransomware took down Colonial Pipeline in 2021, triggering fuel shortages, panic buying, and economic disruption. It was a clear sign when the bits and bytes stopped flowing, fuel and power stopped too. Singapore is not immune. In 2023, we recorded 132 ransomware incidents, but we know that that's just the tip of the iceberg. Many victims choose not to report, worried about reputational damage or business continuity. And despite that, the number of ransomware cases reported to CSA rose by another 20% last year. And some of these cases hit closer to home than you might expect. Just early last year, a ransomware attack struck a local printing company. This sounds very innocuous, just a local printing company, no big deal. But this wasn't just another business. It was the local printing company that was in charge of secure printing, and there was one tasked with the printing of our poll cards and ballot papers for our general elections. This was not a drill. So CSA, together with our partners, moved fast. We forward deployed a team of over 10 cybersecurity engineers working overnight for almost a week on site at the factory. We worked hand in hand with the victim to contain the incident, recover operations, and most critically, protect the integrity of the electoral process. The goal was clear. We do not allow any threat actor to hold Singapore hostage. I'm pleased to note that thanks to the hard work by both my team and also our partners and the cooperation of the company, that GE 2025 was held successfully without a hitch. And this was a photo of me and my colleagues there on site on a Sunday night. And it was very late night. I think it was almost about 11, almost 12 midnight. But you can see we are all smiles because we managed to contain the incident, and the printing. We have done the test printing and ensured that everything was on track. So I think really happy about that. So next, scams. 2024 was a record-breaking year for scams in Singapore. Over 51,000 cases were reported, and for the first time, total losses crossed the $1 billion mark. Scammers are now combining social engineering with mobile malware. Since 2023, we have seen rising cases where victims are tricked into installing malicious apps, often disguised as popular messaging or shopping platforms, allowing scammers to take full control of their mobile phones. CSA worked closely with SPF, banks, and major tech companies to address this. One example was our collaboration with Google to disable sideloading of risky mobile applications in Android phones. Notably, Singapore was the first in the world to roll this out, and to date, it has stopped over 2 million malicious app installs across nearly 500,000 devices just in Singapore. Can you imagine? We could have 500,000 more cases in Singapore. But we managed to stop this thanks to the partnership with Google. And we are also heartened to know that since then, Google has expanded this initiative to more than 9 other countries around the world. So this shows that what we do in Singapore, working seriously to address the threat, actually also supports the global cybersecurity landscape as well. And I dare say, this is all thanks to also having a red team mindset in mind. Last but not least, APTs, or Advanced Persistent Threats. State-linked actors represent some of the most formidable threats that we face. Their campaigns are often invisible, designed to infiltrate, not disrupt, until the right moment. I can't share specifics due to national security concerns, but incidents involving local universities and a healthcare group in the past bore the hallmarks of APT operations. Let me share a more recent case here. Last year, CSA participated in a global takedown of a sophisticated botnet believed to be linked to an APT group. The botnet affected hundreds of thousands of systems worldwide, including 2,700 in Singapore. So maybe give you a bit more texture of what this was. What really stuck out to us were 3 points. Interestingly, from a technical perspective, first, it wasn't just a typical botnet. It used a 3-tier architecture, including dedicated payload and exploit servers, indicating strategic planning by the actors to pre-position. Secondly, this was cross-architecture. It was targeting not just typical IT systems, but embedded systems and industrial processors too. So besides the x86 and ARM variants of processors, it also supported architectures such as PowerPC and Super H4, SH4. You have very esoteric kind of processors. Unless you really have a very clear intention why you want to do that, you likely wouldn't develop code for that. And last but not least, I thought the most interesting thing was that the malware orchestration framework was so advanced that the malware developer had to file a patent for it. And to date, I last checked, you're still patent pending. So really, I think welcome to 2025. This botnet wasn't just an inconvenience. It could have been weaponized against Singapore and our friends. Our own infrastructure in Singapore could have been turned into a launch pad for global attacks. Yet we are able to detect and neutralize it. How? Because we stopped looking for yesterday's threats and started thinking like an attacker. Our red team mindset helped us find unique fingerprints, rare ports, suspicious TLS certificates, and anomalous beaconing. And that's a key takeaway. You cannot defend effectively if you only look inward. You must think like your adversary. You must hunt. APT defense is not just about buying more tools. It's about changing our mindset from passive defense to proactive detection and hunting. So, how do we adapt? What does it to truly mean to think like a red team? Let me offer 3 key core principles. First, understand the threat. Second, challenge yourself. And third, train as a team. This goes beyond reading threat intel reports. It's about thinking like your adversary to really understand the threat. Not just seeing what they have done, but anticipating what they might do next. Ask yourself, if I were trying to break into my own organization, where would I strike? Where are my blind spots, technical, procedural, or human? How could new tools, especially AI, be turned against me? As CSA, we constantly feed threat intelligence to our critical information infrastructure operators. In 2024 alone, we issued nearly 200 alerts and advisories containing over 1,500 unique indicators of compromise. Something that we do not openly share is for every of these compromise, these IOCs, we actually go in through in detail. And we actually curate them very carefully, and we send them to the only affected organizations as much as possible. And for the wider public, we publish 167 SYNCert advisories, almost 1 alert every other day. But threat intel alone is not enough. We must interpret it like red teamers with creativity and skepticism. The best defenders don't just ask, what would attackers do? They will also ask, what won't they do and why? This helps us make sharper decisions, focus scarce resources, and stay one step ahead. Second, challenge yourself. At its core, red teaming is about intellectual honesty. It's about attacking your own systems, not to shame, but to strengthen. Too often, organizations settle for compliance checklists, but checkboxes don't stop breaches. We must ask ourselves these uncomfortable questions. Are we truly secure? Or do we just look secure? Have we patched the system? Or are we just settling the optics? As CSA, we applied this mindset when developing our AI security guidelines. We didn't just think defensively. We went on the offensive. We asked ourselves, how could AI models be subverted? Could attackers poison our training data? How would they trick a model into leaking confidential information through new attacks such as prompt injection attacks? This adversarial thinking helped us develop AI assurance principles grounded in real-world threat models not just theoretical threats. This in turn allow us to publish the guidelines. You can find this on our website, as well as a very detailed practitioner-centric companion guide. I think it's about more than 50 or 60 pages, really step by step, talking through all the different attack vectors and how to stop them on securing AI systems. Because when it comes to emerging tech, hope is not a strategy, curiosity and persistence is. Last but not least, train as a team. Cybersecurity no longer is a technical discipline. It is an operational one, and like any operation, it demands teamwork, trust, and training. That's why CSA and the Digital and Intelligence Service, or the DIS, co-organize CIDEX, the Critical Infrastructure Defense Exercise, every year. Last year, in the 3rd edition, we brought together, in the largest hands-on-keyboard exercise in Singapore, over 200 defenders from 28 critical infrastructure operators to train shoulder to shoulder, defending both IT and OT systems under fire. And we made it very real. We deployed a whole series of live test beds from IT, OT, test beds simulating power plants, simulating your water plants, even your 5G RAN systems, etc. We also deployed a live red team to simulate complex multi-vector attacks from phishing all the way to PLC hijacks, as well as cloud and AI systems attacks as well. Participants didn't just respond to alerts. They had to coordinate, escalate, and recover under time pressure. And I think that was a start. That was a very good start. And we didn't stop at home either. This year, for the second time, Singapore participated in Exercise Lock Shoes, the world's premier multinational cyber defense exercise. This is known, I think, by many in the industry as a Cyber Olympics. Or maybe I find that Olympics might not be such a good analogy. I think it's more like it's the Cyber FIFA World Cup. Because it's really a team competition and you really have national teams pitting themselves against the best against each other. And this year, in particular with DIS as the lead, we partnered with Germany as a joint team and faced off realistic attacks on national scale systems. I'm proud to share that out of 17 teams from 41 countries worldwide, the Singapore-Germany team came in top, number 1. Okay. And if you trace back, really, it all started when, we started training, taking training very seriously, and through the whole national community coming together, led by DIS, hitting the front, building the systems bit by bit, and working with our Germany counterparts, this was remarkable. But this is what it means to take training very seriously. And to us, this is what readiness looks like. Not just tools, policies, but shared experience, trust, and technical competence forged under fire. Ultimately, a red team mindset is not about paranoia. It's about preparedness and readiness. It's not being aggressive. It's about being honest. It's about defending what matters by first challenging ourselves. And to defend Singapore, we must do more than just build firewalls. We must build mindsets that are curious, not complacent, honest, not defensive, collaborative, not siloed. And SingCon gives us an opportunity to do just that, to confront what we don't know, to challenge what we think we already know, and to connect with others on the same path. This way, we know we are ready, be it for the next Maurice Worm, or in today's context, probably for the next Maurice LLM. Let's stay sharp, let's stay united, and let's keep defending forward together. Thank you.